How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dick Dug himself, and today, ladies and gents, we finally reached the final boss of this game. That's correct. Now, for those of you who are a bit, that you probably just watch my videos because you just like my videos, whatever. Huge spoilers. You should turn away right now because this is the final boss of the game. If you don't want to spoil it for you, don't look here. I'm imploring you that you should probably turn away. But if you're not about that life, here we go. Let's continue. So today we're going to be fighting Xeno'jiva. Anyway, we just refer to him as Xeno. Honestly, everyone else does in the community. Everyone just refers to him as Xeno, so that's pretty much all I really need to know. But he's the Elder Dragon, the final Elder Dragon, the final boss of this game. Because usually in Monster Hunter, there's always somebody at the very end. And here's that guy. So first, let me just say he's a beautifully rendered monster. I mean, he's an amazing looking monster. He's highly detailed. He's very, not necessarily I want to say original. His anatomy is kind of very basic. I mean, he's just literally a dragon, 4 legs, a set of wings, and a tail. I mean, it's not like nothing too crazy, but sometimes the simple design is actually some of the more better ones. Now, one thing I will say is that his feet, they are very weird looking. Like he has fingers for toes. It's weird. Other than that, I mean, he's just a really cool monster that I like to look at. I like the hunt nonetheless. Anyway, let's talk about the hunt. He is one of the easiest monsters that I've ever hunted in my life. Dead serious. He's just very easy. I'll say right off the rip, he's like I said, he's a very easy monster. He only really and truly has a lot of HP and hits pretty decently hard. Other than that, again, he's the most easiest monster I've ever fought in a very long time, especially when it comes to like an final boss, Elder Dragon kind of deal. He's definitely the easiest because you can exploit pretty much anything you really need to do to him by standing underneath his belly, which too in part is actually where his weak spots are actually located. His 2 front hands, or claws if you will, and his head. Now of course he has a weak spot in his tail, but truth be told, I mean you have 3 weak spots in the front, so you ain't really got to worry too much about trying to go to the tail for a weak spot unless you find yourself positioned back there. The tail is his weak spot. Now the easiest way to figure out what his weak spots are is by looking at the big glows. Okay, his body's glowing, and the big glowing spots of his body are his weak spots, namely his hands, his head, and his tail. So that way, it's if you play video games before, normally when you see a big glowing spot, it's like warning, this is the weak spot, hit me now. And that's basically what you really have to do when you fight this guy. And honestly, like I said, if you just really stay underneath him, you have no real trouble. Again, he does have a couple attacks that actually try to alleviate people from being underneath him. He has an AoE attack, meaning he'll body slam down, and then he'll press, like he'll try to do a push-up is what it looks like, but he'll press down, and then like this huge explosion will happen after that. After that explosion actually gives you Dragon Blight. If you truth be told, I don't think anyone actually afflicts you with Dragon Blight. I haven't really been afflicted with Dragon Blight up until this monster in the game, but you'll be afflicted with Dragon Blight if you get hit with that. Very strong attack. I suggest you really look out of the way for that. Even if you don't get hit with the initial blast radius, he lets off a couple other geysers, smaller ones around the area that will explode as well. Not in the same grand fashion as the main big one, but they will explode. Think very akin to Shaguru Magala, if you guys remember fighting him in either Generations. Was he in Generations? Well, he was definitely there in 4U, so if you remember fighting him there, it's kind of like that. So, but outside of those particular things, really not much else you can really say. Just try to stay up underneath him, fight him by hitting him in his face, his claws, things like that, and you should be relatively good to go. Lastly, though, I should note this: he has 2 phases. When you first walk in, he's in Area 1, Phase 1. Then you do enough damage, he'll go over to Area 2, Phase 2. Area 1, he'll move to Area 2 pretty quickly. It don't really take a whole lot to actually get him there. You'll probably fight for maybe like 7 minutes, and he'll probably go over to Phase 2. Phase 2 is where the majority of the fight will actually take place in. But there's one thing I should note to you guys about Phase 1, Area 1. There are 3 places where if you aim your slinger shot real carefully, you'll knock some boulders down. There's 2 on the first adjacent, like when you first walk in, there's 2 on the wall to your left. Actually, 1 really close to you, and then 1 a little further down the way. And coming from the same direction, if you look to your right, there's 1 hanging on the wall over there. Try to actually wean him into those locations so that way you can get that extra damage by dropping the rocks on his head. Now let's talk briefly about his weapons and his armor, of course. Now firstly, let's look at the armor. His armor is actually pretty cool to look at, dead serious. So if you kind of like that fashion thing, his stuff looks great. He has wings and the whole nine, and people like it because they kind of flow real smooth, like it's not really jagged animations. It feels a little bit more, I guess, natural, I suppose. But not just form, we got a little bit of function here. So we're looking at the alpha set. Right off the rip, we get the set skill. It actually is razor sharp / spare shot. So it has the sharpness loss for weapons like aren't necessarily like ranged weapons, but for bows and bow guns, it actually has a chance for you to not expend a particular coating or ammo shell when you do it. So let's say you're on your last cluster shot, you shoot it, you might still retain that same cluster shot. So very, very good skill, I should say. Next, we're looking at flinch free, a really dope skill. Prevents knockback and tripping. So I mean, right off the rip, you get 3 points into this, so that's really good for those who actually like to fight with a huge group of people and they tend to just like kind of mash it on a monster and you're stuck there getting tripped and flinched and everything. Not a problem with this particular skill anymore, which is actually a very good skill to have, especially like myself, which is a lancer. I'm probably going to try and get this particular skill on pretty much anything I can actually really get my hands on, so that's really dope. Next, we have a power prolonger, very cool skill indeed. It allows long swords, dual blades, insect blades, switch axes, and charge blades to stay powered up for longer. So for those of you who actually have those particular weapons where you go into your powered states like demon mode, or when you heat up your axe and your charge blade, or you get your red shield for your charge blade, things like that, it'll increase the duration of that for 30% up to, I should say. That's actually a really huge boon. A lot of people like to use with insect blades, so that way their juices and things like that last longer. So that's really cool. Next, we're looking at blight resistance. Nullifies all elemental blights. So no longer will you be afflicted with fire blight or ice blight or whatever the blight may be due to this particular skill, because it nullifies it altogether. Granted, if you have the lower resistances, you still will get hit with the juice. It's just that you won't have to worry about the blight taking effect. So being set on fire, being more prone to being stunned, or rather having your stamina mess with things like that. Special ammo boost. This is a skill for you guys who are gunners and things of the like. Increases the power of bow gun, special ammo, and dragon piercer. So for those of you bow users out there who really love to use that dragon piercer, here you go. Increase your power by 20%. And for those with the bow guns with the special ammos, there you go as well. June. Now lastly, we're looking at critical boost. Off the rip, it gives you an increased damage of critical hits by 30%. So truth be told, honestly, if you look at the max, that's 40. If you can get this skill flat out by itself, it's good enough. I'm not gonna lie to you, that 10% ain't gonna make or break you, truth be told. You'd have to upgrade this thing 3 times, and if you actually want this particular gem, I believe it's a 3-slot gem, so you need 3-slot gems to get the maximum 40%. And unless you're really squeezing and hurting for that maximum damage, just getting it the one time is actually really all it's actually worth. So that's that. Now the beta is very similar. You do lose critical boost and special ammo, but for the most part, everything kind of just really stays the same. It's kind of why a lot of people who are blade masters would just usually go with the beta, because you're not losing much. You're losing next to nothing. You're losing 1 point into power prolonger, 1 point to blight resistance, and 2 skills that 1 you can get all by yourself, and 2 the other one doesn't even work, I should say, with you blade master users. So a lot of people tend to go with the beta set over the alpha set. Lastly, its weapons are actually very decent, actually really good. They're a very good mix between, well, I think the best weapon you can compare it to would either be something like Kuluyaku or Odogaron, simply because it has the kind of lowest attack, has the high sharpness. They naturally have white sharpness, so it's actually a really huge boon. But the dopest thing about them is that they actually have, for the most part, they all have 2 3-slot gems in the weapons. So it's actually a really nice touch to them. So if you really want to make that ultimate set and you don't necessarily have it all in your armor, that weapon might be one to actually help you out. So all in all, his gear is great. I mean, it's not that bad. When it comes to like Elder Seal and Dragon stuff, there's other better ones, but if you just really want to get that skill out, I mean, for the most part, the weapon's still a fairly good weapon. I mean, the attack isn't the greatest, but you do have that whiteness, that white sharpness of booster to actually help you with that. So, again, weapons and gear, not that bad. So to wrap this all up, all in all, Xeno, a pretty decent fight. Not the most elaborate, most coolest, what? That's a weird word. I don't think it's even a word. But it's not the best endgame Monster Hunter Elder final boss ever. It's okay. It looks pretty cool, but for the most part, as a fight, it's okay. A lot of people but they compare him to Gogmezios from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and say he's the better fight. Truth be told, he is probably the better fight, but I like to think that Xeno's the better looking monster, honestly, truth be told. But that's just me. That's a personal preference. It's subjective, you know what I mean? So it's not fact. But what is fact is the fact that he takes a very long time to fight. I'm not gonna lie to you. He takes quite some time. I soloed him a couple times, soloed him twice, truth be told. But those 2 videos got corrupted, so I decided to go with the 4-man group here. But both of those fights took over 20 minutes, over 25 minutes, I should say. The first one took 28, the other one took 26. So it's a very long fight. So if you're soloing it, it's gonna take you a while. But hey, maintain composure. Understand the way in which he kind of works. He does he has a lot of tells to most of the things that he does. He shoots a lot of laser beams, so watch out for the laser beam spam. He tends to do them for quite a few. If you're underneath his belly, you're gonna miss. He's gonna miss you 9 times out of 10. But he does do the laser beams quite often. He'll have actually a prolonged beam where I don't think he's even able to sweep it where he's on the ground. He does have a prolonged beam where he raises his body up and he can aim it and circle it around himself and try to chase you down if he's really targeting you. But usually when he does that particular beam, he will overheat the area around him and he'll sink into the ground, strangely enough, and then you'll be able to do a lot of damage to him. So he kind of puts himself in a pitfall trap, truth be told. It's the best way to really put it. So once you utilize the fact that he's very dumb, I ain't gonna lie to you, he's kind of dumb, you should be able to fight him and do not too bad with it. I mean, he's not a particularly hard fight. Stay out of the way. Do not come here with anything less than 25 fire resistance if you do not want to be on fire all the time. Well, 20 fire resistance, I should say. 20 fire resistance is the minimum you should have when you come to fight him and you do not want to be set on fire the entire time. I went here with 15 fire resistance. I was wearing full Teostra armor and I was still being caught on fire with the fire blight, but I went in with my Urigan armor set that I'm wearing right now. It has 20 resistance to fire, and I was able to stand within the lava that the fire, or the lava, or the magma, what do you want to call it, because his beam will generate heat and it'll leave that whole path in a big molten mess. But if you have that particular resistance, you will not be affected by that blight and you'll be able to actually walk through it almost completely unhindered. So look to that if you're afraid of being set on fire. So if anything, find you a set that actually has very good fire resistance, or just use the fire resistance skill and gem that in, and gem it into the maximum if you could, so that way you get the plus 20 bonus and that plus 10 bonus to defense. But outside of that, that's pretty much all I really have for you guys today with this man right here. He's not like I said, he's not a tough fight. Very easy to actually fight, very telegraphic. Takes a long time if you're by yourself, but if you're with some friends, shouldn't really take you too long. I mean, it took us like 15 minutes here. Lastly, you cannot mount him. So if you're an intake glaive user, or you try to utilize the pillars around you, you can jump and attack him, but you actually cannot mount him. So you can't really rely on mount spam to bring him down, which is a really cool thing that you're probably looking at doing more often. Make it to where you can't mount spam elder dragons, or at least the final elder or something like that, so that way it becomes a little bit tougher of a fight. But that's neither here nor there. I'm no developer, I'm just your boy. But anyway, guys, that's all the monsters. We did all the monsters. The monster dex is complete. We are good, okay? We are good. We did them all. I helped many people defeat all the monsters in the game, and I'm glad you guys were able to journey with me through this entire series to actually get to this point that we are today. Admittedly, we did get here a lot slower than I actually thought to actually get here with, but that's truth in part to the fact that I was trying to play this game on PlayStation and Xbox at the same time, so it was taking a while for me to do both. But we finally made it though. 30 monsters and we're good. So for those of you who made it to the very end of the video, what would you like to see me do next? I myself am coming up with a couple ideas in my head or whatever as to what to actually do afterwards. But if there's anything in particular you would like to see me do, let me know. If there's any other Monster Hunter YouTubers you would like to actually see me collaborate with, and like maybe do a couple videos with them, have some stuff generating, so that way you guys have content and we can both enjoy the luxuries of having each other as, I don't know, as commentators or co-commentators or whatever. Or if we're having to do a particular quest and we're just having fun, whatever. If you want to see me interact with one of your other favorite YouTubers or anything like that, I'll give them a shout. Just let me know what's up. I mean, because I'm always down to network and like get to know other people, but I just don't really know anyone to actually talk to. So like, who would you recommend, that I actually give a holler at? I mean, I know I got my man Sir Hellkite there, but he's busy doing all kind of mad stuff. And whenever my man is ready to do another, roulette wheel with your boy, let him know I'm down and I'm ready. I'm hot and ready. But he ain't hit me up yet, but it's all good. Regardless though, it's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Thank you guys so much for watching and actually making it all the way to the end of this video and all the way to the end of this video series. I will see you guys as soon as I can when I come up with an idea or something to come up with more videos. But till then, it's been your boy. Take care.